Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Smarketing CONNECT podcast. I am Tom Libby. I am your host and one of the co-founders here at Smarketing CONNECT. And today we have Darrin Fitzgerald with RD Media. I'm super excited to have him on because I was on his website and it was just amazing, amazing work. But rather than me kind of gloat about it, I'll let Darrin do that for himself. So jumping right in, Darrin, in a few sentences, kind of give us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, great to be with you today. And yeah, so I show leaders how to use films and video to achieve business goals. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning, helping businesses solve problems with the strongest tool that there is, video. It's just a good time.
So it's not simply a marketing tool in your mind. In your mind, it's a business solving tool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I think most people think about video really as a result. It's a shiny object that somebody tells them they have to have. Well, we have to understand why you need video, what specifically it's going to do for you, whether it's going to help you save time and safety and onboarding and training and compliance, or whether it's there to tell your story and personalize your brand so that when somebody sees your signage or your branding, they have that good feeling. They met you, they learned from you, they learned a little bit about your business, and they feel that much more comfortable digging deeper on your website or picking up the phone and giving you a call for a consultation.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So tell us about the types of companies you work for, and I mean any way, shape, or form that you have designated them, right? Whether they're size or shape or vertical, geographical. What types of companies do you really enjoy working with?
Yeah, that's it's really something that progresses over time. And initially, it was sort of the individual, the solopreneur, then the mom and pop shops, and then I really kind of luckily stumbled into working with large internationally facing nonprofits and even some Fortune 500. So it really runs the gamut, but I've found really the best fit where I get to do what I want and I can offer the most value is the 50 plus, where there's a dedicated, let's say, business development or communication seat. And then really the best of the best would be 100 plus employees. And there's, a marketing director and or a marketing department. And really what that means is that there is a marketing budget, and that gives me the power to show them that they need a certain level of production quality. And, as we go along, that also means that I can develop a relationship with them to help them be consistent and grow in how they represent themselves consistently, but just keep upping the quality. That's what I'm always looking to do.
Very good, very good. Okay, so from 100 employees, 50 to 100 employees is still classified as a small business, oddly enough. Most
Right.
of us think that that's much bigger, but we'll just go with that. So for the purposes of this question, so in the terms of small business tools and in what you use in your toolbox, what would you say is a must-have for a small business tool for small companies?
Yeah, well, you know what I'm going to say, video. Well, yeah, to be honest, it is quite literally the most effective marketing tool available to any business. As I said, when you get in front of the camera and you put your people in front of the camera and you show them what you do and the impact it makes, well, you're forming this emotional bond with the viewer. They're making decisions about you, about how they feel about you. And then, when it comes time for them to make a decision about buying, well, we all know that buying is an emotional decision. So they've already got that good feeling. So, that's it. I'll tell you that the other sort of secret weapon alongside that is private video hosting. That means sort of not using Vimeo, not using YouTube or some of these other tools, but rather putting your video on your website in such a way that you reclaim the search engine optimization value, and you don't give it away to, you know, a Vimeo or to a YouTube. So I could go on a major tirade about that, but I think I'll leave it there for the moment.
That's actually quite clever too, because I was thinking about that whole value of whether it's native to your site versus if you're embedding it from a YouTube channel, but we can get into that another time.
Sure, absolutely.
So I think we started touching upon this just a little bit. One of the things that I like to have people do when they answer this question is kind of dig a little deeper than the surface level answer, right? Meaning, when I ask what challenges small business owners ask you to come in and solve for them, I'm not looking for, well, they need a video, I'm going to solve it, I'm going to give them a video, right? Like, so there has to be some underlying real problem that they are hoping even the video solves for them, right? So what are they typically looking for from you to help them solve?
Well, I will tell you that they literally do 80% of the time come to me and say, I need a video. and that's where the work begins, because then I have to say to them, you know, go through an exhaustive discovery process. I ask them probably 20 different questions, but what we're trying to figure out is, you know, well, what is the purpose of the video? What is the value to the viewer? Where is your viewer going to watch your video, on social media or on your website? And what action are they going to take? What's their next click? Or are they going to pick up the phone after they watch a video? What do you want them to do? And then what goal does that help you achieve? Well, you know, if you're trying to increase visibility, and then you might want a brand video, because, you know, then you can draw people to your website. They watch your brand video, they learn about who you are, what you do, what makes you special, and why they should choose you. But then once they watch a video, they are 2.5 to 3 times, they'll spend 2.5 to 3 times as much time on your website, digging in and learning more about you. So as far as all the different goals, all the different things that we could do with video, it really comes down to drilling down and saying, what is the problem that you have? Gosh, so many different things. Increase engagement, more visibility. Maybe you need a video that literally helps them through the buyer's journey. You know, at every point of the funnel, you have a video that answers another one of their questions or addresses their concerns, so that by the time they reach you, well, they have most of their questions answered, which means they're pretty close to pulling the trigger if you can bring them home.
Yeah. And that's not even getting started in other facets of business besides marketing, right? Whether it be training or safety or any of that other stuff. So cool.
And I've done a couple of those things in terms of training, and they can be a lot of fun. They don't have to be dry and boring, you know. So there's a lot of good solutions out there.
So in this particular question, Darrin, we're making the assumption that you become a trusted advisor to your clients, and if they're looking to go again outside their own 4 walls to bring in a consultant of some sort in the sales and marketing world, we would hope that being that trusted advisor, they would ask you about it, right? So what kind of advice do you give to your clients if they ask you, how do I hire a sales consultant? How do I hire a marketing agency? What does that look like to you? And what advice would you give them for it?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the time I'm going to try to connect them, you know, directly with at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 different people that I know who fit the description. But, you know, as a general rule of thumb, I will tell them, both for sales or marketing, go and look at the work, look at case studies if they have them, read reviews, ask for references. Don't be afraid to ask for references, and look for testimonials, because that's social proof. That's what our best clients have to say about us, ideally.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to call those references, right? That's the other thing.
Right.
Because the assumption that, well, they gave me this reference, so they're never going to say anything bad about them, isn't always the case. Sometimes you can call a reference and just pull a few more pieces of information out of them that they're not looking to volunteer. So I agree. Very
great
cool.
point.
Very cool. All right. So this is my humanizing question that I ask everybody. And it's probably one of my favorites just because I have a lot of fun with it. And I've actually asked this on interviews, by the way, when I interview salespeople. But Darrin, if you could be a superhero, who would it be, and tell us why?
Yeah. So I guess I would sort of reframe your question, if I'm at liberty here, is what superhero maybe am I most like?
Oh,
I
there you
would
go.
say probably the Shadow, because the Shadow knows. Number one. No, but I mean the Shadow was known for, although he could fight villains and criminals, and sort of a cross between a detective and a secret agent, he often would use multiple agents to solve these problems, to fight his foes. And that's very much along the lines what I do, because I'm a one-man band, though I have trusted partners and resources and networks literally nationwide in all the specialties that are associated with video production, marketing, SEO, ad buying, pretty much every facet of what I do. So yeah, the Shadow.
So Darrin, the Shadow Fitzgerald. We're moving on.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
love it. All right, so here's a good opportunity. We're going to pay it forward. A lot of times I ask people, who do you think would be a good guest for the podcast? But I also like it in a sense of, give a shout out to somebody that you really appreciate their work, that you've worked with them in the past. You think they're a good quality person in the sales and marketing world, preferably. And then I get to reach out to them after the fact and say, hey, we were talking about you and I'd love to have you on the podcast. So who would you give that shout out to?
Yeah, I would say Matt Ovila and Shay Baker, the husband and wife team over at Three Thought Creative. They are developers and designers, but what I really love about them is, apart from creating beautiful websites and printed collateral, the gamut, they really understand user experience, sort of directing traffic, getting your ideal customer, your target audience, to get where they need to get on your website quickly. And they understand search engine optimization. And and they bring good art and design to the table. So it's the complete package.
Very cool. Very cool. And lastly, we're gonna just say that, Darrin, I was on your website. This is everything forward facing. This is all public stuff that you've put out there for people to get in contact with you. Phone numbers, obviously email address, your website's on there. So aside from what we're seeing on the screen right now, is there any other places that you want to mention that people should check out your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, as with most any professional, I think you can always head over to my LinkedIn profile. I also have a company page there, which I'm just starting to grow. I have a presence personally and for Artie Media on Facebook, on Pinterest, Instagram. I like to put a few personal fun things that I snap on my phone up there, and so it's the gamut. It's a little bit of the professional stuff, but also some personal flavor mixed in as well.
Very cool. And if you remember nothing else, you obviously are watching the Smarketing CONNECT podcast, and Darrin is one of our Smarketing CONNECT professionals. If you can't remember anything else, just remember we'll get you in contact with him. So I will make sure you get in contact with Darrin if you need him. I would recommend him 100 times over based on what I saw and stuff that I've seen. So Darrin, thank you very much. I appreciate it so much of being on the podcast, and thank you.
Very kind. Appreciate your time.